Hi everybody, it's Anne Lewis, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Tonight I'm doing, how do I explain this? I'm doing the card that I hadn't planned to do because the card that I had planned to do somehow unraveled. So I still made the best of what I had, but I think you'll love this card. There's so much you can do with it. Sorry about that. I'll see if I can silence this. There's so much that you can do with it, and you can use so many of your designer series paper. I'm hoping that you can see and hear me. If you can, let me know, because I obviously just silenced my phone, which is where my microphone is. So leave me a comment if you can both see and hear me. It does help me. Rightio. So it's been a really busy day. The last few days I've been tidying up my craft room because I've got a new catalogue coming through. So that means that I have to rearrange my craft room to fit in all the lovely new products that I have ordered. So let's just, I'm hoping that, I'm just going to return that on. Rightio. Let's see if you can hear me now. Leave a comment if you can. Rightio. I'm going to get started. Now, one of the first products that I ordered, which isn't what I'm using tonight, was actually this gorgeous floral spray 3D embossing folder. And the reason I absolutely love it is because it has so much detail. So you can do so much on either side of this. Oh, thank you, Joan, and Felicity. You can do so much with either side of this embossing folder. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. Now, I'm going to do this for a class. Now, I haven't made any cards, and I'm going to throw you down to my desk. Here we go. It's not the desk, but that is. There we go. Rightio. So these are what we're going to need if you're going to craft along with me tonight. But I will give you lots of measurements, etc. There's no rush, but I'll just show you some of the things that I did. Now, as soon as I got this embossing folder, I did two sides. I just ran a mossy meadow, really rough, didn't do anything. Zoomp, zoomp, and look at how that comes out. Now, this is one side of the embossing folder. That's the other side. Both of them turn out amazing. Where are my rest? Now, I haven't got these in any order. I'm not going to show you. I'll do a class on this. So this is kind of where I have just blended onto the embossing folder directly. You can see it's very subtle, but you can see the amount of detail that embossing folder does. That's on basic white cardstock. This is using a brayer. It's using a brayer as well, but slightly different. This is just on watercolor paper, so it gives a little bit more detail. So just plain. Look at this. I've just run Memento black ink over it. I did put some fingerprints on it, so I'll have to learn. This, look how gorgeous this is. I just used up all my scraps on the desk. Hi, Glenda, how are you? Hi, Rhonda. And hi, Rocket. Rocket is Rhonda's pussycat, and as you know, I'm a pussycat person. Well, I'm an animal person. And this is the last one I'm going to show you, where I have just watercolored the image. How nice does all that come out? So I can't wait to actually do a class on that. Ideo. Now, we've got a few here. And let's get started. So the card that I'm showcasing is a version of this because I've changed it up again. This wasn't the card I was going to make. The reason I made it is what I was had in my head, which was a fancy fold, didn't really work out. So this one still, I think, looks fabulous. Now I do want to show you because one of our new products, see this white stitching, is a gel pen, a Stampin' Up gel pen. And that's it there. We get 2 in a pack. Now, I just want to show you, gel pens, you say gel pens really easy, quickly. Gel pens haven't had a great history because they run for a while. This one is amazing. Now, it's been tested by Stamping Up, and basically, it does, look how nice that is. It's got so much ink in it. Now, I won't tell you that I just bought some gel pens before Stamping Up brought those out. So you can see how much colour it's actually got. So I did add a little bit of stitching detail on this. So that's something to add to your wish list. So this is my card. Now, there's a couple of design features. And remember, this design didn't turn out like I had originally planned. But I actually shifted this design from running long ways to short ways because the way that my pattern goes, it stretches it. And so when I open it like this, I think it looks nicer. Look at that designer series paper in there. So this is about using your designer series paper. Now I've used on here, now I said you could use circles, you could use, what is it called? Branching out, which is the one that I used here. I could also use nested essentials. And there's quite a few things in my stash that I could use. So basically, it's about using what you've got. Now, I've designed the next card with a circle because that's probably what most people have. So I'll just show you this again. So this is using the, what is it called? I haven't got to know them all yet. It's the Valley in Bloom, and it's so pretty. Garden green is the main color, but it was perfect for this because it has some really nice contrasting colors, patterns, etc. I've chewed a little bit through here, but I mean, I love this. Look at this. Yum, yum, yum. And like the patterns on the back, which I always call the B side. So if it's a floral's the A side and the pattern's the B side. Doesn't always work out like that, but quite often it does. So it's pretty gorgeous. Now, so this is the card. So I'm going to make a slightly different version of that. And I'll walk through the design features of why I chose what I did. Now, this paper is designer series paper, so it's a B-side. This is kind of what I would call Lily of the Valley, and this was another print. So I just changed it around a little bit. So this time I'm using one of the new in colors, which is Peaceful Pine. And I've cut it long ways, so it can still go that way. So you get to choose how you do your card, which is the nice thing about this. So it's 11 inches by 4 1/8, and it's scored at 5.5. Now I picked Peaceful Pine because it actually matches the designer series paper. Now, whilst you cut this out, if you're still cutting whilst we go, I'll show you the designer series paper, because this is that one that I showed you a couple of nights ago, a couple of weeks ago, I mean, that has the flopping on it. Just pull this out. I've got stuck on the back. Throw this over here. Look how gorgeous that colour is. It's a smoky green, and it has some cloud cover, which is this colour here, which also has, this is the A side, so the flock side is the A side. Look how bright that paper is. I did cut some of that out, but it was a little big. And that's the piece that I am using today. So just make sure I don't pick up one of those, otherwise I'll never find it again. So this piece, as I said, you can use whatever's in your stash. Now you may have read what I wrote on Facebook, or actually in the description of this video, this is every second week, and I haven't kind of caught up yet, but this is going to be blind date with your stash. So you get to use your stash. So I'll be designing cards that work with just about any stash. Now, it may not work with exactly yours, but I'm sure you'll be able to come up with a card that works. And then on the alternative week, I'll be doing a technique class. So what that means is it does come down to specific projects, etc., products and projects. Rightio, so this piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Now I can actually I can't stick it down yet, so don't stick it down and jump ahead. This piece is on the inside, so it's my sentiment insert. I try and keep my measurements consistent. So again, it'll be 3 7/8 by 5 1/4, which makes it really easy. And this piece, so it's the back of that, is this beautiful cloud cover one. It's a long one, so read later. Thanks, Leanne. Now, so what I'm going to do, this piece is 3 3/4. Now, I know some of you are going to say, why didn't I, when you look at this, why didn't I just cut from corner and then turn the piece over? Changes the balance of the card. It doesn't look the same. I tried it on another card to see what it would look like, and it doesn't pop like this does. So that's why this piece, and you could have it dark like this or light. It's up to you what actually matches. Now this picks up my background. This picks up the dark green leaves. So they both work, but in a different way. Now I'm going to grab my trimmer, which is hiding over here. And on this piece, I'm going to cut from corner to corner. So if you're not used to cutting from corner to corner, you're going to put the point on your cutting track, and the same here. Get rid of the scorer. And then you're going to cut it. But because these are points, if your blades aren't super sharp, they'll actually rip into it a bit. So start in the center and go like that. So now I have two triangles that are going to be my pieces that sit up here. Now the idea of this is, and I'll show you here, this one, I'm hoping you can, I'm just trying to put this, I fold it over and it gives this really nice edge. Now I decided, obviously there's a quicker way, I can just cut it off rather than folding it over. You can see it doesn't look anywhere near as nice. So you can just cut it off where I'm going to tell you, but I like the folded finish a little better. So I'm still using this piece here. I'm bringing this piece, and I'm going to do the same here. And so this was 3 3/4. It's square. Then I've cut it into 2 equal triangles, and I'm going to score it at 11 16ths. Now, I know that's a ridiculous measurement, but the reason for that is that our A4 sheets, when we cut them in half, brings it back to 4 1/8 inches. And then to get this to fit, it has to be that. But 1.8 centimeters works just as well. But I'm not trying to jump from inches to centimeters, but just in case that helps you. But 11 16ths. Now I'm going to show you where 11 16ths is. Now, where are we? So if I count along, that's 8 16ths. So it's the one before the 1/4 inch mark. I'm hoping you can see that. The one before the 1/4 inch mark. So it's just a little one. So it's on the inch line. So you've got 3/4 of an inch, and you just drop back 1 point, and that is 11 16ths, which lines up with 1.8 centimeters. So I'll show you how to do this. So doesn't matter which side, but remember, you're not cutting this, you're folding this. So I said it's 1 back from 3/4. Now I want it nice and straight. So that's why they give us these lines here. Well, it's not the only reason we get those lines, but I know. So I'm just going to score that. Now this is quite thick paper, but don't get too carried away. So do exactly the same to the other piece. 1 little line, and then you're lining it up with your vertical line here. I know. There we go. So now I've got to just make sure I've got this going the right way. I can fold this over. So you can see I've got this hanging off. I'll cut that off. But hopefully I've done this right. This means that my 2 points are where I've got the folds are exactly in line with those, with the edge of this piece of paper. Now, there's an easy way of doing this. I'm just going to grab, making sure I've put this up the right way, not that it matters. That ran out, it's a little warm here. Got a bit too much adhesive on that. There's a bit of scrap paper. Normally I spread it out, but there's a bit too much there to even spread out. So all I want to do is line this up here and make sure that my corners going to be along that fold and finished. Now just adjust it a little bit, just in case it's not perfect. I'll get my bone folder. Now these bits you can just trim off. They're easy as. How's Rocket going, Rhonda? Hello. So I've just lined that up at the edge and trimmed it off. So now you can see I've got it nicely centered. So again, we're just going to do this one. Use my bone folder. And we're going to put this one at the bottom. So again, add some adhesive here. You can see this is a pretty easy card. It's just doing, I'm lining up those corners again. Now, by how I've done this, those points should line up. But to be honest, there's a bit of a design hack here. So if they're not perfect, they just got to look perfect up here. Cut these off. Whoops, got that a bit crooked. Okay, so you can see how this now works. Now it's going to go on this. This is going to sit onto here. Now, if you're who's crafting along, Rocket is on his post and Tiger has joined us as well. Tiger used to be the name of my old cat. He's gone to heaven. He'd be looking down on Kiko, for those who follow me, who is fairly spoiled. I know. I just want to get this. Oh, nicely centered. Now I'm going to stick these down. You've got a choice here. You can. Now these are my circles. So you can see they just kind of join it together. Now, if you want to, you might like having that popped up just a little bit. Adds a little bit of extra interest. So I might do that this time. So I won't glue it down. But I will put a little dimensional on there. Just to keep it in place. So now it's popped up just a bit, but it's up to you. Now, I've also got to decide. As I said, I did circles this time just to show you could use what's in your stash and still get this to look pretty good. Now, because I did that little bit of stitching around this one, I think I should do some stitching around here. So I'm going to, I do have a little green. I do have, I'm hoping. I've got a dark Peaceful Pine blend, which isn't the finest pen, but it might just give this little bit of pop on here. So let's put a little bit of stitching. Of course, it's a blend, it will bleed a little bit. I know. Remember, this corner is going to be, the point is going to be hidden. It just makes it pop. Now, this one popped because it was light on dark. This one pops because it's dark on light. And I think this cloud cover is a little light. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see it doesn't take very long. I don't. Now, hasn't that now popped? Oops. Put that away. Just want to show you. Look at how that has now popped and the difference that actually makes. You can never spoil your pets too much. They give you so much love and company. You are so, so true, Glenda. At the moment, I'm not mentioning Keiko's name. And remember, this time I'm doing it long, so you can see the difference that it makes. And I mean, there's a few choices. I can put this off center and put it over there, but I'm going to keep it because you know me, I'm a little OCD. So I like those centered bits. Now, before I add that on, I'm going to die cut. Just using my little mini. I've hurt my arm again, so it's a little ugly. Wait a minute, I'll just get that out of the way, and I'm going to stamp. If I can find my stamp, it's going to be a thank you. And I did a little test to make sure that it would pop, and it does. So let's grab, actually, before I do that, let's make a bit of space so you can see the new ink pads. So these are only the in colors that they've converted to the magnetic ink pads. So I want to show you how they work. So all you have to do is hold them like that. Now you can turn that over. That will sit like that. So it's quite, doesn't take up much room on your desk. Or, oops, it also picks up dies. Or you can sit it like that. Now, so I like it the minimum. So now, you know how you're going to lose dies, don't you? So when you're missing a die, have a look at your ink pads that you've been using. Now, from next year, so this time next year, Stamping Up will convert. Let's see how this stamps. We'll convert all our ink pads to magnetic. At this stage, only the new ink colors. Look at that stamp. Love this stamp. So, all right. Now let's close this up because you know me. I'll just put that out of the way. Now, so I've got this. Bring back that little mini emboss machine, which is perfect when I've got a sore arm. Let's hope I can. It's a bit of a all right. As you always know, as I always say anyway, I always have the camera between me and my projects. It's just the setup that I have. I think it's a setup that most, I don't hope, yeah, even the little one hurts today. I know. Hi, Susan. I know, so just pop that out. So I'm used for the circle, so I can throw that away. So how gorgeous is that? So it's got a little bit of pink, which made it pop a little more. Now I'm using the stylish shapes for my circles. So that's this one here. Every week you see me use this, and I always say this is the most popular die set that I have. I use it so much, so handy, and I don't know whether you can see this, it's carried over until August, so I'm pretty excited. Yeah. What happened to my little, there's my little thank you. And I've got some little gems. So I've got some little butterflies. I'm hoping that you can see this. Wait a minute. Hold on. Some little butterflies here in the new in colors, and I've got some little, what are these called? In color dots, and these are called in color butterflies. Pretty obvious. So I'm going to use some of those. This is going to sit up here. And as I said, I'm going to put it in the center. So that's the sort of designer I am, but I know a lot of you are going to put it a little off center. Now, I've been sharing some of the projects you've shared with me that we've made in our online class. And I love it when you share, and I love it when you give me permission to share online, because it inspires others and gives everybody some new ideas. I know. So let's add some dimensionals. You can see this is a quick card. which is what I wanted to be. I'll just put one in the middle. So this is from the same designer series paper. So I've used some of the Peaceful Pine designer series coloured paper, and I think I like this down like this. Just want to line it up centered, and then I can just put this. Now, there's quite a few ways I could do this. I'm just going to put it like that and add a little bit of twine. And my old my old white. I'm going to pop this up again. So this one can't go overseas, can it? They seem to only like one layer. I'm dropping it down so everything isn't in the center. Add a little bow. So who's crafting along? Let me know. Now, some of these, like the ribbon, the twine, I didn't add that to the list. I wasn't sure whether I'd need it, and it's something that you can add later. I know. Just put that there. I think that adds a little bit of, just adds a little bit more interest. Not that it's a boring card. No. I'm just putting on the V here. I know. Now I've also got, I think the butterflies will fade away a little bit. Now my choices are, because the only colour on this is on this design, because this is Daffodil Delight Berry Burst, basic white. So the only colour I can kind of use to tie it in, I think, again, is going to be the Peaceful Pine. Let's see. I like using some of the big ones, otherwise I just end up with, let's try. So I don't want them in a line. Doesn't work well in a line. Oh, I'm missing one. I'll have to check my little packet. Maybe over here. Right. So I've added a little bit of bling. Now you know that at the moment I have a fetish for Winker Stella. So add. Let's not squeeze it too hard on my project, because you know what happens, don't you? That. Let's just add a little bit of Winker Stella. Then it just looks a little bit more brighter. I know they're bright colours, but I'm not going to do every flower, just a couple of them. Just whilst I use up that little bit that jumped off the page. I know. Now I know you won't be able to see that, but hopefully you can see how that now looks. Let's just see if I can, hopefully you can see. So on the inside, I'm going to, what have I got? I've got on here Another nice lots. Thank you so much. I'm just going to transfer this over. So it's got thank you so very much. Let's try and get it a little straighter than that. And where's my ink pad? Over here. So I've got to kind of practice. Today's the first day I've used these. And I like how they stamp. I've always been, these are felt, but I've always been a linen or a felt fan. So just got that there, simple. Whoops. I don't. Now I must have some of this paper over here that I can use for a scrap. It's not going to work. I've got a whole lot of scrap pieces. This is what I do with my scraps. Let's find a small little piece here that I can just add. Oh, here's a piece. Righto. So I'm just going to add the bottom of this. So it's just a leftover from my cutting out that nice circle. So I always cut these strips about 3/4 of an inch. I'm hoping that I just get that in. I do. Keep that. And then I know that this piece, this piece is 3 7/8. So I want to cut this down to 3 7/8 so it fits well. Now I'm picking which end I use so that it matches my card a little better. So let's add this. Now it's all tied together. Now I might have to just trim this off a little bit. So next week, my plan is to do use one of our new masks that are coming, so that by the time the catalogue comes in, you've had a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the new products. And I love this mask, and you'll see what you can do with it and how to make it absolutely wow. I know, so let's add this in. So it's fairly simple. Insert. You can see how different just the colours and the paper can make this. There we go. Cut out. So there's one. And this is my original. And you can see, same design, turned around, looks completely different. And just changing up, some of the elements that I've added. So happy birthday card. This one opens that way. So it's always a good idea to have a play with how a card opens, whether it goes long ways, whether it folds over in a standard size. I'm not sure I have any standard size cards around at the moment. Do I? No. They're all out on display. So what do you think? As I said, it wasn't what I was going to do, a fancy fold, but it isn't what happened. And this, once I start something, I just keep altering it until I'm very happy with it. If it doesn't go as planned, which does happen occasionally, I just make it work. So looking forward to seeing this paper and patting the flocking. So true, Chantel. It is. I just don't know. This is flocking. Where's my paper? This is the flocking here. And each one of them has flocking in a different direction. Got to be careful with that word, flocking. Radio. So, hi Myrtle, welcome. Glenda, thank you for your lovely feedback. Let me know if if you do end up making this card or your version of this card. I mean, you can make it how you like using what you like. And there's so many different ways you could play with this design to make it work. So I'd love for you to send it to me. You can either send it by email or actually post it in, I think you can post it, and Rhonda can tell me this, post it actually in the live stream or on the message, the reminder for this that has the picture of the project. So you can add it as as a picture and a little bit about it. So thank you and let me know whether I can actually share it with the rest of the community. Thanks everybody. Hope you like this project. Don't forget, you can see me both on YouTube and also on Facebook. And remember that Facebook deletes the live streams every 4 weeks, whereas YouTube, it's there forever. So I encourage people to like it on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, because then you can find it if you're looking for this in a couple of weeks down the track, whereas you won't find it on Facebook. So thanks everybody. Next week, don't forget, I'm going to be showing you how to use, I'll give you a sneak peek, just in case you haven't seen the catalogue, you haven't got the catalogue. If you'd like a catalogue and you'd like me to be your demonstrator, send me a message with your details and I'll get one out there. So these are the masks. You can see they're 12 by 12. And if you don't know what a mask is, you can colour through using blending brushes and a few other different options. This is the one I'm going to show you next week. How gorgeous is this? So they're 12 by 12, so we can use them on our scrapbook pages as well as on cards. Next week, I'll be doing them on a card. And it's probably one of my favourite designs, changed up again. Because I think we all have some favourite designs. But I think there's some things that always visually appeal to me. And this design next week is definitely, I'm dreaming about it. I can't wait to do it. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. Bye for now.